Headhunter Nick Corcodilos is the host of AskTheHeadhunter.com and the publisher of the Ask the Headhunter newsletter. He joins us now to offer his read on the job market and dispel some misconceptions about which job hunting strategies really work. Nick, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good to be with you both.
You know what? I want to get into this, but Lori and I were talking. We've got to ask you, how did you come up with the name?
Well, Ask the Headhunter?
Yeah.
It was easy. It just literally popped into my head years ago when Prodigy was the big online site for talking to people.
Sure.
I went on and started answering people's questions because there were a lot of issues with job hunting and so on, and I just titled it Ask the Headhunter off the top of my head.
And speaking some of those issues right now, you say that there's a structural and perhaps even a seismic shift on how corporations are going about hiring right now. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. The big word on everyone's lips today, Mark, is profit. And yet, when you look at the way companies have been recruiting and hiring for the past 10 or 20 years, it's been all based on basically hiring keywords. Databases being used to match people against jobs. But you're not really matching people, you're matching the words in a resume and an application against words in a job description. Companies were able to hire willy-nilly that way for a long time because they could afford to hire a lot of the wrong people. Today, they can't do that. Consequently, what I see happening now is the percentage of people being hired through personal referrals and through referrals of trusted sources by managers is just going way up, while the job boards are becoming a feeding frenzy of fish.
So that said, who's in a better position right now as companies are becoming more optimistic and confident about economic prospects? Is it better to be looking for a job right now or to be a company who's now going to have to face perhaps a little more competition luring the best talent?
If your focus is on profit, I think you can be on either side and do very, very well. What I advise job hunters to do, when you walk into an interview, typically what happens is you get asked what I call the top 10 stupid interview questions, the things that make your hands get clammy. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? If you could be any animal, what animal would you be?
That's a joke.
What's
right?
your greatest strength? What's your no? These questions are asked honestly.
Why would somebody ask that?
Because it's part of the roster of questions.
And then on the other side, what are the biggest mistakes the job seekers do?
Job seekers walk in and answer the questions they're asked. What I advise both job hunters and employers to do, there's one magic question to ask on either side, and it relates to profit. If you're the job hunter, you say to the manager, could you please lay out a live issue, a problem you would want me to tackle if you were to hire me? And then let me explain to you, I'll give you a little mini business plan of how I will go about doing the job.
Literally like role playing.
But it's not role playing. Here's the difference. You role play when you do what's called the behavioral interview. Okay. The behavioral, you're talking about your past. A manager can ask an employee, a candidate, anything in the world. Why not ask, can you show me how you would do this work profitably for me? It's not difficult to do that, but you have to do a lot of preparation. You can't pursue 500 companies at a time. You can only pursue the ones that you really want to work for, you research effectively, and which you can walk in and provide this business plan.
All right, so what industries are you finding most demand for new workers?
You know, I'll tell you something, Lori. I don't like getting into predicting who's hot, what's hot, because it changes very, very quickly.
But a lot of job seekers are in transitional mode. They're looking to change careers because of the changing times and the changing demands and the changing makeup of the overall economy. So what kind of guidance are you giving there?
You need to pursue what you want to be really, really good at and what you're willing to invest yourself in. Companies hire top-notch people, even in fields that are not hot today. The question is, can you bring profit to a company's bottom line? So I deflect that question because I don't think there's a good answer. The good answer is to be able to show how you can do a good job.
I got deflected. I don't think I've ever been deflected.
Nick, can I ask you, we have about 30 seconds left, and I'm told that we're going to ask you to stay through the commercial break because we have some more things to talk to you about. The unemployment number that came out today, does that give you cause for concern? What do you hear?
Would you bet money on what the numbers are going to be next month?
No, not at all.
And I wouldn't have bet what they would have been last month. I think there's so many factors that affect the unemployment figures, the jobless figures. It's really a crapshoot. I think the question is, if you're a company, what are you doing to find the people who are going to contribute to your bottom line? You can't worry about the numbers.
And Nick, as I said, we're going to ask you to stick through the commercial break, if you would, because we have a lot more questions, especially with the job situation being it is. Maybe some really good advice for people who are looking for a job. Nick Corcodilos is going to stay with us.